It was my third day in Atlanta. All I had seen was the inside of my hotel room and the inside of my little booth at the convention center where I was an exhibitor. I had just packed up for the day, and a friend of mine came over, David, and he said, "Want to go dancing? There's this place called the Underground. We can go by trolley." I wasn't so sure about the dancing, but trolley, that sounded really cool. So we found the stop, and a couple of minutes later, I saw the trolley. It was green and gold and gliding toward us, tethered to an overhead cable. It looked like a little Christmas tree ornament. My spirits were already lifted. We climbed on board. Our coins tingled down the box. We sat down. We were the only passengers for the moment. And we struck up a conversation, little touristy pleasantries with the driver. At the next stop, a man in a stained khaki jacket stumbled up the steps. His face was largely concealed by a hood. What we could see was covered with sweat. He was shaky and steadying himself with his right hand on the rail. His left hand stayed in his pocket, and he said to the driver, "3rd Street. "Sir, this trolley doesn't go to 3rd Street. 3rd Street. "Sir, I can't take you to 3rd Street. There's no tracks that go to 3rd Street. "3rd Street. I got a gun." And the driver said, "Okay, man, be cool. Just relax. I'll take you to 3rd Street. It took me a moment to process what was happening. We were being trolley jacked by a strung-out junkie with a gun who didn't get the idea that you cannot detour a trolley from its tracks. And I couldn't help but wonder what was going to happen when we didn't get to 3rd Street. And suddenly my heart was pummeling the inside of my chest. He noticed us for the first time, and he waved his hand inside his pocket. And he said, "You two, don't try nothing." And I could see the barrel of a gun sculpt itself in the fabric of his pocket. So we sat, very compliant, hands folded, eyes down. And he was getting very impatient. "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" "We're almost there, man. Take it easy. We're almost there." "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" "We're almost there." And then the driver struck a conspiratorial tone, and he said to the man, "You know, you should send those 2 people to the back so they don't get in your way." "Oh, okay, good idea. You two, go in the back and don't try nothing." I tried to stand up, but my legs were wobbly. David had to pull me up and kind of usher me toward the back. And when we got into the middle of the trolley, we understood why the driver said that. The rear doors were open. In a split second, I considered my options. I could be compliant and sit down and maybe get shot when we didn't get to 3rd Street. Or I could jump off this moving trolley. But before I could make that decision, the trolley lurched to a stop. David gave me a push. I leapt over those 2 steps to safety, or so I thought. In midair, a man grabbed me. He put his arms around me, was carrying me away. I was screaming. I was kicking my feet and straining against him. Another man came up and grabbed my arms, and then someone pushed something in front of my face. It was the gold shield of an Atlanta Police Department detective. And I realized I had been rescued. He set me down and he said, "You were never in any danger, ma'am. We knew what was going on the whole time." And I said, "How did you know? Was there an intercom or something?" He said, "Nothing." He wasn't giving away his secrets. I turned around and David was right near me. The jacker was gone. The police were taking a statement. Someone called a taxi for us. We went back to the hotel. I went straight up to my room and collapsed on my bed, and I thought, now, isn't that interesting? A trolley cannot leave its tracks, but it sure can take you on an adventure. Thank you.